Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Constitutionalist. I'm your host, Ammo Dog.
I'm Charlie556.
Hey, we're excited to be here once again. Before we get going, I'd like to ask you guys to please find our podcast wherever you get your podcast from. And we're also on YouTube. So if you check us out there, please like, subscribe, and share. That helps us out a lot. We're pretty new at this, so if we can get some exposure by you guys sharing, then that's great with us. Also, if you feel like dropping us an email, I should say, check us out at theconstitutionalist71@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you guys with any suggestions or feedback, good or bad. We've said this before. It only helps us improve. Other than that, what a crazy week. What a difference a week makes. Right, Charlie?
Always.
Right. Well, what do you think? We got first order business that we had here is we finally got a speaker.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Mike Johnson, Republican of Louisiana. Go Tigers. Anyway, but what's crazy about that is, wouldn't you know it, he is voted in unanimously by Republicans, so there's a lot of high hope there.
Right.
And he does have some interesting tidbits about him, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does.
What are some of those?
Well, a couple of things are, we know that he's an evangelical, right? He's a huge Trump supporter.
Has been since the get-go.
And he was one of the guys who was really pushing having Pelosi arrested. Remember when she ripped up the president's State of the Union?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the main reasons
I'm surprised she had the strength to do that. That surprised the heck. I was like,
that is true.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a phone book or anything.
No. Well, for her.
Yeah, might have been for her. But one of the reasons why he was adamant about that, and he was talking about the legalities of it all, is that was like an official copy of the State of the Union.
It's government property.
Right, yeah.
Now, we in the military, how many times did you have to sit down and listen to fraud, waste, and abuse?
Oh, absolutely.
I sure wish the swamp had to.
Yeah, no. They only get us in trouble for that. Well, they do it
right
tenfold. So, I mean, and recently with Johnson, I got to admit, I didn't really know a whole lot about the guy. I don't know if you did or not.
Not too much, no.
But I do remember him being upset over the Pelosi thing, and I remember him, talking about that. But as far as anything else about him, he just was like so under the radar, it seems.
Right.
But one of the first things that he's done, and I even saw a report on this yesterday, is that he's putting the pressure on the Biden family, the Biden crime family, and he's put them on notice, letting them know and the world know that these impeachment inquiries are starting up again, and he's going to be heading them up.
Yeah, that was my concern, is whoever it was going to be, if it was just going to be left to the wayside.
Right.
There was going to be too much other distractions with Ukraine, Israel, and all this other stuff that it just wasn't going to happen. So that was...
he seems like he's like on point.
Yeah, I mean, even with the, like I said, unanimous, that means the big eight, Gates included, were ecstatic.
And see, that's the thing, is this whole thing with the speaker pissed me off so much. And it's not, again, we talked about this. I get what Gates was saying about McCarthy. I get it. Oh, he didn't do exactly what we wanted him to. So, but it just seemed like such an extreme measure to take to get rid of the man.
Right.
And then for it to be left in limbo for weeks while they look like complete fools. And no matter what, I mean, we can move on and say, yeah, we got a speaker. But you can't take away from the fact that the Republican Party looked like complete buffoons the entire time.
Well, and it helped that of course, the Democrats were going to use that any which way shape they could to make it look like that as well, even if it was for the good of the country.
Well, yeah,
they we got the right individual in there this time, and on the other aspect of that is, forgive me for not, I'm not saying not believing it, but for being a little skeptical on this, because let's face it, we've been burned in the past,
right?
I.e., Boehner,
crying Boehner,
and
Boner,
Ryan,
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the speaker, right? Yeah, there's just.
But see, those guys got to stay on in. You know what I mean? You didn't hear anything about getting rid of them the way they did McCarthy.
Well, no, but I also think you didn't have even though I still think there's a lot of empty suits on both sides of the aisle. I think back in those days during the Bush administration, Barack administration, all that stuff, I think you had a different group of players then than you do now. These guys in here, like the Gateses and the Marjorie Taylor Greens, you know, they're kind of a no holds bar Republican that we've been desiring in there for a long time.
I mean, and that's true enough. You know, that is a valid point. It's just, I don't know. Hopefully we can all move past this and it doesn't affect them at the polls. Right. You know, that's the main thing.
Yeah. And you know how stuff goes. I mean, they start doing what they're supposed to. They start making a lot of conservative hearts happy out there.
Yeah, memories are
exactly
short.
How quickly the memories are short about that, and how good it's going to be seeing. Like I said, if they hold that administration to the fire,
right?
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, those again, very valid points. So, anyway, thank God we've got a guy in there. I know that they've been giving him some crap about this evangelical trait of his. Yeah. And I mean, you saw the pictures of him praying on the floor, but of course he wasn't the only one. He looked like a football huddle,
Right.
Everybody was there, and not that I care about this woman whatsoever, but you remember old Psaki, Jen Psaki?
I do.
Yeah, and she's got her MSNBC show, I believe it is, and she was talking about that.
Circle back Psaki.
Yeah, but made it a point to be very cautious of this, evangelical,
right?
Neo-Christian, whatever she called him. I don't even remember. But
I mean, what are they worried about? Next thing you know, it's going to be turned into a theocracy, and we're going to be yelling, God is great, while throwing homosexuals off of rooftops and waving flags and pointing genocide to an opposite party that actually had nothing to do with genocide.
Well, if they did that, maybe we'd all get some support like they're doing for Hamas.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind, Jim.
I was checking out X,
Thanks for stopping by.
There's a guy that I follow on there. I can't remember his name, or I'd plug him right now. But he said this was an actual photo, and it was some guy somewhere here in the United States, but he had a Palestinian flag and multicolored hair, a big old pink shirt on, and it said "Homos for Hamas."
Yeah.
And
that's like mice for mousetraps. Absolutely ignorant.
Yeah, because we brought this up in a prior show, and you were talking about, what was it, Queers for Palestine or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we're not being ugly, like he said. That was the actual name of the organization. Queers was in there.
Right. It was a big sign they were holding.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got this guy, Homos for Hamas, and if they were ever to come face to face, they'd be the first ones killed, probably.
Yeah, they absolutely would.
Anyway, just the same old stupid crap. I'll tell you what, I never knew that there were so many anti-Semites out there, but man, have they all come out of the woodwork. And they're unashamed, aren't they? If there was any of this talk against Muslim people, against black people, against Mexican people, I don't give a crap. Whatever race, religion, creed you want to throw out there, you'd never hear the end of it.
No.
But somehow it is perfectly allowed and encouraged, seemingly, to have this burning hatred for Jews.
Oh, yeah, and there's the tweets.
All over the world, too.
Or the X's, whatever they're called. Are they called tweets now or X's now that it's not Twitter anymore?
I don't know.
Elon, help us. Tell us what it is.
But I've heard people calling it X's, and I always think it's funny because my X's.
Right.
Anyway.
But yeah, there's these posts everywhere. I mean, they go as far as to say, the Jews are going to get yours. Your women will be raped in the streets. Yes. Your synagogues will be morgues. And again, this isn't the exact quote, but I remember those words.
Right.
And you're going to be killed off just like Hitler started. Oh my God. Yeah. Right? So immediately I go back to when they were pointing the finger at Trump and Trump supporters, basically me, calling me a Nazi. And who was the head of the Nazis? I mean, it's a no-brainer. So it's just another example of how the far left makes absolutely no damn sense at all, but they will sail that sinking ass ship until
right.
It's
and then and again
lunacy.
This what we see is in the news are not all the news agencies, but or media moguls, but we see a lot of these protests here in this country. But you also have this craziness. It's just going all around the world. They had those scenes they were showing on the news on all the channels and about that mob that was storming the airport, supposedly to hunt down Jews that were on a flight.
Right.
Hundreds of people. And then I'm like, well, what were they going to do when they found him? Were they going to murder him? It's just crazy. The world's gone. And then you got Putin out there talking about Israel is going against the rules of engagement. If he's really doing all the crap that he's supposed to be doing over there in Ukraine, he's like the last guy that should be talking. But I don't know. I guess you can go on and on about these people coming out of the woodwork. Both, and some of them are celebrities. Some of them are they're famous and known, and some of them are like this guy, some dude in Nevada that got charged by the feds for threatening to kidnap, assault, and murder this Jewish senator, a female.
Really?
Oh yeah, what was her name? I can't think of what her name is right now. But anyway, I guess he was calling and leaving these expletive-filled voicemails and bringing up the war going on over there and whether or not she's got family over there, or is she, because she's got the position she has, is she allowing them to come back and forth to kill innocent civilians and then come back to the country with no problem? Just talking crazy stuff, But anyway, They arrested him, and that's good. But
so how long ago was this about?
I just saw this today, and I think, her name was Senator Jackie Rosen. Yeah, I believe that's. Is she Democrat or Republican? She's Democrat, right?
Democrat, yeah.
That's eating their own, it seems,
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Which is very unlike them.
Absolutely, yeah. Just goes to show you, man. Once they start losing their minds, all bets are off. It's no holds barred.
Exactly. The narrative immediately changes.
It doesn't matter how stupid they sound. It doesn't matter how nonsensical they sound. This is the agenda that my TV told me to support.
Right.
And by God, that's what we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, we can move on from that, unless you got anything else to add about that, Charlie.
We could go on forever, but there's more things going on.
There are, and one of them is the Senate, this is a good thing. Senate passed that amendment that was authored by Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, and protecting the Second Amendment rights for veterans in case the VA was to have to step in and manage their financial benefits for them.
Right.
Passed 53 to 45.
In the Senate, it passed, I believe, right?
Yeah, the Senate, and then it has to go to the House, right?
Which I would venture to say Biden will probably veto that.
Well, and we'll see. They'd be strictly targeting veterans.
Right.
So that would be an interesting, if he was to veto that and say no, that would be an interesting turn of events to see what the reaction would be, besides even the thought of it, what my reaction is, which is pissed. I wouldn't listen anyway. I would not comply with anything like that. They could go to hell. But anyway, basically, I'm wondering how this is going to pan out, especially with the recent events of the shooter that took place in Maine, the mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine, right? So, man, and I know we've talked about it, and I'm probably going to go into some tinfoil hat stuff here, but dude, it's the series of coincidences. After so many, they're just not coincidences anymore, Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just very odd. Number one, the guy goes and shoots up a bowling alley and then a restaurant, right? And this just happens to be on the exact same day that the FBI receives, like, quote unquote criminal information on the Biden crime family from over 40 different human confidential sources all across the continental United States.
Right.
So I don't know. Apparently Senator Grassley is the one who obtained all this. It dates back to when Biden was VP. and it relates to Joe Biden, his brother James, and then Hunter. And the sources all over, they were all sent to the FBI. And to me, dude, we know this FBI is corrupt as hell. So they tried to play block, and they tried to downplay all this, dismiss it as foreign disinformation.
Right.
So they successfully shut down quite a bit of this reporting, labeling it, like I said, foreign disinformation. And then some of the info was in fact vetted, the ones that slipped through their freaking grimy hands that they couldn't filter out, and immediately found to be credible and found to not be foreign disinfo at all. So I think what you got is obviously a biased FBI, a rules for thee and not for me type of game going on.
Well, you consider their boss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And this, of course, you think about all the stuff leading up to Trump's 2020 election, or campaign, rather. It should have been election. But I don't know. All the crap that they gave, even back when he was running for president in 2016, and you had the FBI, and no one talks about this anymore, but the FBI, working diligently to undermine that campaign, spying on him at Mar-a-Lago on the orders of freaking Obama, all of this stuff. And
started the day that man came down the escalator. And it hasn't stopped yet.
No, it hasn't.
Very second.
No. And he still has time to kick ass at those rallies that he does. Yeah, man, that was awesome. Him speaking at the Jewish convention.
That was great stuff.
When Trump, that's when Pence bowed out.
Yeah, another GOP hopeful.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, him and the fly on his head took off. But yeah, man. So I don't know. To me, this FBI is it's a cancer. Is what it is, and it needs to be removed and replaced. And the FBI needs to get their credibility back. Yeah. As a kid, when for me, you hear any of the FBI, CIA, to me that was badass stuff.
That's the stuff of heroes.
Absolutely. Working and protecting the United States and foreign soil, CIA operatives, all of that stuff was just, I don't know, almost magical to me when I was little.
Yeah.
And then you grow up and see this stuff going on, and it's sickening.
Makes you wonder.
Sickening is what it is. Yeah. So. Yeah, all the way back to what we were talking about, JFK.
Yeah.
So anyway, the reason why I said what I'm talking about is some possible tinfoil hat stuff is you have all this going on with the Biden crime family and all of these reports coming to the FBI. You have impeachment inquiries getting ready to ramp up again. All of these things that are looking pretty bad for Biden. And next thing you know, it's just time for a shooting. It's time for a mass shooting.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about this on this show before, dude. When something huge is going on, look away. Try. I know it's hard when you can't help but rubberneck at a train wreck, right?
Right.
But if you just freaking turn and look the other way, what were they trying to divert your attention from? Mm-hmm. And to me, it's stuff like this right here that we just talked about.
Well, this one, for lack of a better term, it's got two birds with one stone here. Because you mentioned both of them. First one was, lo and behold, a bill circulating for veterans' rights.
Right.
This guy just happens to be a veteran. This shooter, this alleged shooter, just happens to be a veteran.
Right.
And then you've got the 40.
Criminal. Information files.
Exactly. So.
No, those are valid points, and I'll tell you what, man. The very first photos that were coming out of this guy, he's sitting there with an AR or some, obviously a long gun, and he's in what looks to be the bowling alley, right? And he's taking aim, and you're like, okay, here's some surveillance footage of this dude doing this. Oh, it's horrible. Well, then they turn around and show another photo of the guy, which is obviously either driver's license or state ID or something. And they don't look anything alike. No. I don't care. Nothing. You can call me whatever you want, but they look like two completely different people.
And I'm not proud of my ID, but you can tell. There are facial structures, hair, things you can tell.
Yes. Certain things don't lie. The shooter, for example, the actual shooter, It's got more of this long, elongated face.
Yep.
Long, elongated, like, bridge line for the nose.
Hair grows differently.
Yeah, the hair's different.
He can actually grow a full beard.
Yeah, because the dude on the, that they're claiming is the actual, what's his name, John Card or
is it Robert?
Robert. There you go, Robert Card. So, to me, it's just not the same. And I called it. If you guys check us out on X, you'll see I posted on there. I think it was a day prior to him being found dead, suicided. I put on there that they're going to find him dead, Hillary Clinton style.
Right.
That's what they're going to do. And sure as shit, you can't talk to the guy.
Oddly enough, there were reports circulating on the media, that said these self-inflicted gunshot wounds. Some of these reports were 2 of them.
Right.
2 self-inflicted gunshot wounds, which were quickly removed.
Right.
Couldn't find them. I don't even know if you did a search now if you could find them, but they were there.
Yeah. What, you talking about the photos or the report?
The report.
Yeah.
Of how I
too saw that, and I'm sure a lot of you out there saw that too.
Even the reports of dead and injured.
Yeah. Look at the vast change in those.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it at one time? 22?
It's 22 dead.
Or 23, something like that.
Yeah.
And a crap load injured.
I saw up to 60 people injured.
Yeah.
And then I think officially it was dropped to 18.
18.
And then 13. 18 dead and 13 injured.
Right.
So.
Now I know the situation is fluid during these times.
Yeah.
And information may or may not be getting through, but I think enough time had passed to where you can announce publicly what an accurate death toll and injury toll is.
Also, initial reports of more than one shooter, more than one vehicle.
Yeah, we heard that too. Yeah. So who knows? And guess what? The you're not gonna ever know. You can't talk to the individual. You can believe that he shot himself or whatever, but look, you have a guy, and I'm talking about the actual Robert Card, not the surveillance.
You mean
spook.
Not the Fed boy that's off living in Peru somewhere with a nice
umbrella
pension?
drink in his hand? Yeah, okay. Not that guy.
Okay.
The actual Robert Card.
Right.
You have an individual that has a history of some mental illness going on.
Severe, I believe.
Yeah, severe. He's on a lot of different antipsychotics. I don't know what his military record was. I know they said that he had some awards, but I find that odd too because, look, we both served for a long time in the military, and if you have documented mental illness, they're probably not going to be, and I can't speak for all branches, but, in the Air Force, if you've got some mental illness going on and and it's documented, it's not like they're just going to treat it and then you go back to work in the bomb dump or something, you're probably going to get released. So here's this guy with I cannot remember how long he was in the Army, but it's a good while.
It's a good while, yeah.
And anyway, so the point of this is he's an easy target. They find this guy. They're like, hey, here's one guy that's got a history. Let's put up our Fed boys and see who looks most like this guy. And they picked a guy that doesn't look any damn thing like him,
Now,
so,
and here's the thing. While we can, and I'm me personally, I'm not telling anyone out there this is the way it is. I'm just saying.
I am.
Get your again. My beliefs are my beliefs. You can believe what you want to, but this isn't just some random thing that we've come up with over the past few days of all this and went, man, look at all this stuff. We call it false flags.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of you out there, if you're listening and you've probably heard that before, that term.
Oh yeah.
And it's not, and again, a lot of people get upset and they say false flag. You mean like those people aren't dead? You mean like those things didn't happen? No, that's not at all what we're saying. There are people that are dead. There are lives that are shattered.
Right.
Yeah. And it's false on its pretenses on what actually happened, on the players involved.
Right.
Exactly.
You don't want to know the players that are involved.
Yeah. Exactly. Or because you'll be right next to Mr. Card. So,
yeah, absolutely. So,
but it all comes from other false flags.
Yeah,
and again, we'd be here all night, and once again on this topic if we cover them all. But just to name a few, there was the Dallas Mall shooting that happened, and they claimed he was a neo-Nazi. Social media posts about being a neo-Nazi, yet at the same time, according to, apparently he's got this patch on him that with the acronym RWDS,
right,
which stands for Right Wing Death Squad. Like, we're all supposed to know what that means. I never heard that crap in my entire life.
yeah,
I know a lot of conservatives, buddy.
yeah.
So, but again, it was a push to me. That's a push on an attack on conservatives, on the MAGA people.
Yeah.
The very next, after that, in Buffalo, the Buffalo shooter.
Yep.
Wasn't too long ago. His manifesto actually sounded like liberal inspiration.
Yeah.
But once again, calling him a right-wing extremist.
I think and I think that's your point, is that even though they're labeling them right wing, they seemingly are the opposite.
Right.
Right.
And it's not always the case, though, because then you have
Remember Scalise? That
yeah, absolutely.
Straight up Bernie Sanders supporter.
Absolutely. But then Uvalde, and it's not always playing the narrative of trying to pinpoint, hey, this must be some extreme conservative. Uvalde had all sorts of damn weird things going on there. It was a trans shooter, alleged trans shooter.
Yeah.
I still don't have you've got the explanation for why the police didn't go in there for over an hour. Instead, They were arresting parents trying to save their own kids.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that.
But
insane.
I still, to this day, have not heard if anyone, whether it's the police chief, whoever made that call, what happened? How did they get to make that call and allow that mayhem to continue for over an hour and nobody? There's no repercussions to that. I mean, maybe there were, and I didn't hear about it. But I've tried to follow it for a while, could not see anything.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything either.
You got the Vegas shooter.
Yeah, another weird one.
Conveniently found dead in his hotel room.
Can't talk to him.
Load of guns that nobody saw him dragging all of these guns that he reportedly had.
Exactly. Or ammo.
Yeah. Also reports of more than one shooter from people all over those
Dude,
grounds.
the video. Remember the video?
Yeah, you can hear it. Right?
That these bystanders were taken? It absolutely sounds like different reports coming from different areas.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
And then one of the more recent ones, besides this one that just happened, of course, the Nashville shooter in the school.
Right.
Also allegedly transgender.
Yeah.
Still waiting on a manifesto there. That just can't release that manifesto.
Yeah. There was some weird stuff with that too. Remember the photos?
If you look into it, there's a lot of weird stuff. Those are online. You can find them. There's the shoes not matching.
That's what I was just going to say. The shoes, and they're complete. The pants are like the same, but completely different shoes.
Yeah. And that's varying from what they caught originally on CCTV, allegedly, in the school, and then the body cam footage of the police officers. They don't match.
No, they don't.
They just don't.
No.
So again, a lot of weirdness out there. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly how it went or what happened.
Well, sometimes I think that it's important. And again, there are going to be those that laugh and go, "You kooks," or whatever.
Sure.
And that's fine. But let's at least mention it, and because what you're going to get is what they want you to hear. And I think since the media first began, that's how it's been. They're going to be able to write a certain way that's going to sway you to a certain opinion. Mm-hmm. But there should be some disinterested from that media people like us that see some stuff or hear some stuff and at least say, you know what, wait a minute. Let's at least ask the question, Right. You want to freaking paint us as conspiracy theorists or wearing the foil hats, so be it. But let's at least talk about it. And I think we would do a disservice to not talk about it.
We would. And unfortunately, that same disservice exists on both liberal and conservative or the so-called neutral outlets. Because, talk like that would get a good guy like Tucker fired.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
We don't get fired. We don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, of course, in the midst of all this, like you said, there's so many wonderful parts that this gets to play out for the Democrats. Just all these little gifts they get from a horrible event like this shooting. And it's like you said, it's the cover up.
Right.
It's the cover. It's the 40 different individuals having some dirt on the Biden Crime Syndicate.
Right.
It's the the
FBI
attempt,
shielding them.
Oh yeah, the attempt to circumvent
Yep.
the latest bill that Senator Kennedy introduced.
Yep.
But it also, like those Democrats always say, never let a crisis go to waste.
Oh,
before the
absolutely.
bodies are even cold
Yep.
and removed, they get
Right.
a chance to talk about banning assault weapons,
Whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, and I put my finger quotes up in the air because
Right.
there's no such thing. But okay, so AR style weapon, any semi-automatic, just the whole attack on the Second Amendment. They get to open that can of worms.
I mean,
up
and
all
let's
over again.
And I know where you're going with this, but let's be honest that these semi-automatic weapons, but yet they have zero issues with like a semi-automatic shotgun or any wooden grain
Right.
stock.
It's because they're weapons of war.
Right, but and I know you're being facetious.
Oh, yeah.
But other weapons that don't look scary operate the exact same way, fire just as many rounds,
Yes.
just as quickly.
Yes.
And because
Probably do
these,
more damage.
Yes, and well, yeah, they
If
do.
I had, hell yeah. If I had Sabo slugs in my semi-automatic shotgun,
Right,
give me that AR, please.
exactly.
Yikes.
Well, whatever you do, don't use an AR to go hunting deer.
Oh, that's right, because there would be nothing left of it, right? According to Joy Behar.
Oh God, what a stupid biatch.
And that's the problem too, is that these morons they have no idea what they're talking about.
But
and
they do.
Yeah, and not just the talk show hosts either, but I mean people in the legislators, the ones that y'all send over there to make those laws. I remember
Biden said something the other day.
Yes.
We were laughing.
oh yeah, who needs an AR-15, something that can have that many rounds in the chamber at one time.
Like 30 rounds
Yeah,
in the
30
chamber.
rounds in the chamber at one time. I'm running the other way.
No kidding.
That thing's about to go boom.
In the other direction.
Yeah, so they
to your
don't
face,
even
man.
understand.
They're so stupid.
And I'm not a gunsmith, and they don't even understand the mechanisms,
No.
how a weapon works. They even I remember it's probably one of the first things that I watched that got me glued to the Hodge twins.
Oh yeah,
and their
Love
shows
those
was,
guys, yeah.
and I can't remember the lady's name. She's still in office right now, but I remember they were asking her about an AR-15, Democrat lady, and she was like, "Oh yes, I've held an AR-15, and I wish I never would have too, because it weighed I don't know, like 100 pounds or something." It was all, and the whole time, like she's like in the screen next to him. And you had one of the brothers, like one of the Hodge brothers, with an actual AR and like with two fingers lifting it up and down, like it doesn't weigh shit because it doesn't. It was just another example of how they don't even know what they're talking about. So
No, they don't.
If I don't know what I'm talking about, I sure as hell don't want to lay something out for a law or for a rule or anything like that.
Yes.
Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to put people's lives in danger?
Yeah.
Or why would I be a destructive matter in any type of thing?
And another thing, man, if they're so passionate about this, how come in between mass shootings you don't hear a damn thing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I just don't think they give a damn. It's whatever they can do to be destructive to this U.S. Constitution of ours.
Right.
That's what they're going to put forth. Because it's true. You can go months without a mass shooting. You're not going to hear any Democrat at one time talking about banning any type of weapon, assault, or otherwise.
Right.
Only when these things take place. You know, I don't know. It's just totally asinine.
Now, Kamala,
Oh, Jesus.
Vice President Harris,
Cackles.
and in between those cackles, she thinks that we should be more like our friends in Australia.
Australia. I saw that.
Yeah. So what do we know about Australia?
Tell me, mate.
What? I think you from everything that I understand, like you have to have special permission to have a weapon over there, and it better be for hunting or something of that nature.
Right.
They don't, of course, they don't have a Second Amendment or anything close to it.
No.
They did a.
They used to.
But then after that one unfortunate incident, they did a major gun confiscation.
Yeah, mandatory buyback.
Yeah, exactly, mandatory buyback. Fingers in quotations in the air again, and so to me, there is no other. There's no other way to say that than. That's a call for the abolishment of the Second Amendment.
Well, of course it is, and it is also. God, we can talk about Second Amendment obliteration for days and days. There's so much history of them trying to get rid of it. Or alter it.
Light that dumpster fire.
Yes, and it's all just one step in the direction of the government doing everything for you, to include. Protecting you because you're not responsible enough to have a weapon and protect your family. You just might wake up and go shoot some people. 300 plus million of us in this country might just one day wake up and just shoot one another. It is one more step for total government dependency. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's here's the thing, Miss Vice President. At the end of the day, and I tell you what, we'll have the constitutional learning time just for Vice President Harris.
Yeah,
lady, there are two ways to repeal an amendment. One is for the proposed amendment to be passed by the House and the Senate with 2/3 majority vote. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Then the proposed amendment would have to be ratified by 3/4 of the states in the Union. That's never going to happen.
Right.
The second way is to have a constitutional convention. That is absolutely not going to happen. So it's just lip service. It's lip service to the anti-gun crowd out there, the lobbyists. That's all that crap is. They know in their heart. Biden knows. Harris knows. They all know that amendment is never going to be repealed. Yeah. There's no way.
And let's face it here. Let's just say that all of the stars align in the planets and they do away with that Second Amendment. Honest to God, what are you going to do, Charlie? Tomorrow, all personal firearms and weapons are no longer allowed, says the government.
Well, if that deadline's on Friday, I'm going on a shopping spree on Thursday.
Right, and you're not going on a shopping spree to let the government buy it back.
No.
So I guess
I mean, no one's getting my weapons.
That's the point.
And if they try, they'll get it one bullet at a time. From my cold dead hands.
Right.
I didn't comply with mask mandates. I don't do that. I'm about the Constitution.
Right.
If I have to comply with the Constitution, man, I can't wait to do that. Love complying with the Constitution. Well, when you become unconstitutional, I don't have to abide. That's like an unlawful. To me, that's the same as an unlawful order in the military.
Sure. No, you're right.
So,
you're right. But I think that is the major point is if they come out tomorrow and say that guns are not allowed for the typical civilian to have, I'm simply not going to comply.
And it's going to get, and it would get in a situation like that, it would get ugly because and they've had those talks before, and they've been interviewed by multiple sheriff's departments by those sheriffs, and they laughed and they said there's no way
they're not going to enforce
me
it.
And my men would enforce anything like that.
Right.
In fact, we are happy to know that if something happened and I was in a situation that I could not control and my life was on the line, I would hope that a good Samaritan would jump in, however he had to, lethal force or not, and help, and save my life and those around me.
Absolutely, and you have no further to look than back in the days of the Revolution, right?
Right.
When the British wanted to disarm the colonists, and so what you had was this small flame of revolution burning and slowly lighting other pilot lights all across the colonies. And so when these British would come in full force from home to home and farm to farm, they would have excuse me, they would have lookouts that would immediately ride back when they saw these British coming, and they would say, hey, you know, they're like an hour out or whatever, and they would grab all their firearms, dig a huge pit, and they'd normally do it where they were growing crops in the field or a garden.
Right.
That way it looks natural for the ground to be disturbed. Mm-hmm. And they would wrap them in some canvas and they would bury them, and you'd have 100 guns laying there, and then they'd put some bullshit plants over it, you know?
Right.
And then they would come and stab around and check the barn, and then, all right, these guys are complying. And then they would leave, only to get shot in the butthole, you know, further down the road, which is exactly what would happen if they try to do the same to us these days. And if it isn't what would happen, then it damn well should be.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I'll tell you, I'm not... It's just my opinion, but I'm not complying with something like that. And if it means my life, then look, I wagered my life in protection of that Constitution many times over, right?
Right.
And that doesn't, just because I'm not wearing a uniform anymore, doesn't mean that stops.
Exactly.
And that Constitution that I supported and defended, that you did, and so many others of our brothers and sisters this whole country wide have done and sacrificed for, no, we're upholding all of it, not just what they decide is not absolute anymore.
Right. And if you truly love this country, if you truly love the freedoms that we're blessed with, and even whether you put a uniform on or not, it should just be in your heart that you would protect that Constitution
absolutely,
by any means necessary. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's... again, it's like I said, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, and that is what it is.
So again, open those eyes and ears next godforsaken thing that happens, and just watch how fast they are to jump on the anti-gun bandwagon.
No, of course they're already doing it. Yeah,
and all the weird little anomalies that go on every time there's a false flag shooting.
Yeah, that's true. Look. Our Constitution, that document, is as fragile as, you know, glass. And any attempts to alter or forbid or change, it can shatter that glass.
Yeah.
And life as you know it, as you've become accustomed to, as you've taken for granted, would never be the same. I hope everybody out there understands that this isn't just some old document that needs to be framed for you to go look at whenever you take a trip to Washington sometime, you know. This document is what gives you every right that you're just so used to you don't even think about it. Those of you that have never traveled outside of the United States, it might be easy to just assume that the entire world operates like this, and it absolutely does not. These are special privileges that we in this country have, and they're so special that they need to be guarded carefully from those that would be willing to take it away from you. And sometimes, unfortunately, that can absolutely be the ones that are supposed to be governing you and protecting you, but it's all about power. They cannot achieve the power they want because of that pesky freaking piece of paper. The same piece of paper that put them where they are, I might add.
Which, incidentally, I sure hope the new speaker goes after Biden, speaking of the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4, about the United States government protecting the borders of our states.
Yes.
You know, and the fact that, you know, Texas, for one, that's obviously not happening. And actually, I can give my shout out now to Texas and the federal judge. Did you hear about the blocking this federal judge did to basically prevents the Biden administration from cutting through razor wire installed?
No, I did not hear that.
By Texas authorities. Obviously, you know, it's to keep the illegal.
Yes,
the illegal
they had those
out.
floating things too.
They were going to cut it out, and then last minute, this federal judge, don't know his name or her name, but you know, thank the Lord, Yeah, so it's just, and right there, it's another example of a president and his administration going against the Constitution. That same oath that he took. I mean, to me, that's impeachment 101.
That is.
That's treason.
That is. When you look at all of the issues that have befallen us in just a few short years, how anybody out there is voting Democrat anymore, I have no idea. It is beyond me. The only person that can alter this freaking dead-end course that we're going to, this path of destruction, is one man, and to me, that is Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
And they have him so backed up into the courts, and it was all on purpose. It was pre-planned, the timing, and I think we all know that. But look, I would just, for any of you out there that are like, oh God, the orange man is bad, I would just challenge you, I guess. I don't ever want to be ugly to anybody, but I would love to know, and you can drop an email, look me up on X, whatever you want to do. Let me know how things are so fantastic under this brain-dead, speech-slurring, raisin lookalike, deadbeat criminal bastard that is in the White House, occupying it, installed like a freaking toilet. And
where's the Tylenol?
God, dude.
Ode to the Christmas Vacation. Good old Chevy Chase. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
I don't understand. I said the same thing with Obama. He was a 2-term president, and everybody, oh God, he was greatest. And I'm like, what did he do? I mean, when you think of 8 years of Barack Obama, what is the takeaway from 8 years of the same guy in office there?
I got you that Affordable Care Act. You like that a lot, don't you? You're welcome.
Yeah, that's real great. Thank God I don't have to do shit with that.
I drew 17 lines in the sand for Syria.
Yeah. I would have been 18, but I ran out of sand.
Yep.
I don't know.
Leg got tired.
But yeah, there is no takeaway. I mean,
No.
I would talk to people online and everything, and you may not believe it, but if you want to have engaging conversation, it's important to not be insulting to the other party.
It doesn't have to be
right?
so damn ugly.
No, and that's what I always try to do that, especially if I'm talking to someone. Like, you don't want to say, well, you big dumb bastard.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? They're not going to want to talk to you. So the thing is I would have these conversations with folks, and this was back when, when he was in office or his final year, and I was like, what is the takeaway? I'll make it easy for you. Thank God Barack Obama was president because, and then a big blank line. And that damn phrase would stay there online. It's probably still there floating around somewhere, in the freaking crevices of the internet unanswered. So I don't know. And it's even worse with this guy, I mean, I just don't understand. I would love to know what people's thoughts are on why they would vote for this decrepit man, that doesn't have my chickens outside are smarter than that guy, They have more purpose in life, I don't know. It's absolutely asinine, and I don't know. I just think we're on a highway to hell.
Well, I mean, it is, and another just slap in the face, and it just hugely concerning. Did you hear about Iran's foreign minister paying us a visit at the UN this past week as well? Yeah. I mean, just goes along in what you're saying.
Didn't we? So obviously they meet in New York, right?
Right.
So we grant him the visa.
Oh yeah.
We pay to put them up and everything, and then what? Go ahead.
And then, of course, he just absolutely rips Israel.
Yeah.
But in the process, he makes sure to let the United States know that the United States will not be spared if they have to go in. If Israel keeps up their, in finger quotes in the air here, genocide on the Palestinian people. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So basically direct. So
it's a threat.
Yeah, it's
and
a
it's
direct
not a veiled threat either.
Right.
Yeah.
To a foreign diplomat And of course, the Biden administration is quick to say, "Well, we don't have any right to keep them out. He's a member of the UN."
Yeah.
However, legislation was passed to make damn sure that they can do that. I think President Trump did it twice.
Sure he did.
To keep them fools out. Yeah.
Yep.
When one of them was Iran, But what do you expect when you're lifting sanctions and you're making Iran rich all over again?
Yeah.
Like Biden
and you're handing them. You're not.
Why wouldn't you have
even,
your buddy come over for coffee and tea?
Yep. And you're throwing $6 billion at them.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And then $100 million over to Hamas, which is Iran. So anyway, I don't know, man. It's like I said. There's only one chance, folks, and that is in 2024 when it comes to election time. Not only vote Republican, but you're going to have to vote for Donald J. Trump. It is if you weigh these options and you think who has proven that. I mean, okay, you've got 4 years of Donald Trump, 0 wars, 0 bad actors acting up. As a matter of fact, you got the first guy ever to cross over into North Korea, and they both got giant grins on their face. No one has ever done that.
No.
And he didn't kiss that fat baby's behind.
Nope.
He was stern, and just as stern as he always is.
Yeah.
And he would threaten when he had to threaten, but I think they knew that he would back that shit up.
Yeah. Took out ISIS leader, took out Soleimani
Yes.
with the head of, was he head of the Republican Guard, I think?
Yes, he was. And then Baghdadi, the ISIS commander, wiped them out in like 4 months.
Oh, yeah.
They told him it would never happen.
Oh, this is going to take some time.
Yeah. Well, it's probably never going to happen.
Right.
Whatever. When you get Hussein out of there, then things are a lot easier.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Man, all these coincidences.
Yeah. Weird.
Strange. Just in time for Halloween, kids.
Make better sense if it was April Fool's.
That's every day at the fun house.
Anyway. But I guess we're rounding up our hour right here.
We are.
We were supposed to have a guest tonight, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it, but we're going to have him on next week. So look forward to that.
Awesome.
Once again, Brian is his name, and we go back a long way. And Charlie 556 here knows him well, and really, really good guy.
Funny.
Yeah, funny as hell, from the great state of West Virginia, and he'll Westfall. Yeah, he'll be with us, and we'll get his take on some things. Probably talk a little hunting, a little fishing, some funny stories that go along with that, and he's just an all-around great guy, and we love him. So
that's awesome.
Anyway, I guess do you have anything that you want to throw out there, Charlie?
Since I'm in my shout-outs in Deadgummit, Texas, you're doing it again. Texas House of Representatives passes an immigration bill that allows the state law enforcement officers to remove illegal aliens back to Mexico when they're caught.
Oh, wow.
So Texas is getting it done, man.
They are.
Left and right,
God, man. Greg Abbott.
Hell yeah. So, kudos to you guys. Proud of you. God bless y'all. Keep up the good work. All you other border states might want to start taking some notes.
Exactly.
So,
man, that's great news.
Other than that, all I got is happy Halloween. Check your kids' candies.
There might be an AR in there.
Yeah. If it is and you don't want it, give me a shout.
I love sweet ARs.
I love bartering.
Oh man, as always, it's a pleasure to be here. It's as you guys know, we're just getting started in all this. Can't say that we have, racking up the views or anything, and we do hope that changes. But it sure feels good for a couple of pissed off veterans hiding out up here on the in the mountains. South Cumberland Mountains, to get some things off their chest. And I have a feeling that the things that are on our chest is pretty much the same thing that you're thinking too. At least those that would follow this channel is probably what you're thinking. Again, you have our email. It's theconstitutionalist71@gmail.com. You got anything, any questions, anything you want us to talk about, any feedback for us, like I said, good or bad, just let us know how we're doing. look us up on X. We're on there at The Constitutionalist. And find us wherever you get your podcast from. And check us out on YouTube, because those same podcasts post there. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and just kind of help us.
Exactly. If you like what you hear, absolutely. Please tell your friends and family.
Yep. And then again, just
we would love to know about us being the conversation during Thanksgiving dinner this fall. So
we're here.
Tell us how it went.
We're here to piss off your family.
Yeah, you know that liberal uncle.
We're tired of pissing off our family. We need to piss off your family. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, just check us out, guys, and we love you, and we're just glad to be able to throw some time out doing this, you know.
That's it.
Yeah. Look for us next week. We're gonna have that guest on there, and if y'all like him, we'll have him as a recurring guest, and maybe reach out to some other folks and have them on the show as well. And
oh yeah.
Other than that, happy Halloween. This is the holiday run, so we got all of the holidays coming at us, 90 miles an hour, inflation out the roof. So hopefully you guys can afford some Christmas and some Thanksgiving, and still be able to pay your internet bill so you can listen to us. Anyway, you guys take care.
Stay frosty, kids. I know it's cold.
Stay strapped.